ladies and gentlemen. I hope you are having a fantastic day. If you're new to the channel, my name is Nirenstein, and this is Vehicle Virgins. Today is Saturday. I wasn't gonna film today. I kind of wanted to just relax, take the day off, but my friends are going for a drive, and I thought there's some cool cars coming, so I figured I'd turn the camera on and share my day with you guys. Let's roll in the Huracan. We got Malcolm in the supercharged E92 M3 in front of us, and then Alex in the F87 M2. Just hit up some of our favorite roads. Alex is taking off now. Peace, dude. Freaking awesome. Supercharged M3. Honestly, on some of the tighter roads that we did today, I almost prefer having something like this M3 or an M2. Having an 805 horsepower car in tight, twisty canyons can be pretty intimidating, but it further reiterates how happy I am with my decision to go supercharged instead of twin turbo, because it would have been a nightmare if I was waiting for lag and then the boost kicks in and all of a sudden I would have gone flying off a cliff. James just left for Europe, but if he was here, he would love this foliage up there for some aerial shots. Spoke too soon. It appears Malcolm is trying to take his spot. E92 leaving. Honestly feeling so blessed right now, guys. The roads out here are insane, and being able to drive these amazing cars with a good group of people, it's just so incredible. That hood though. All right, time to take her back. It sounds so good! A couple of months ago, I filmed a video called Top 10 Cheap Cars That'll Make You Look Rich. It got a very good response, and there's a lot of other cars I left out of that list that I want to tell you guys about. So I think it's time to hop in the Mercedes, go for a little ride, and tell you 10 more cheap cars that'll make you look rich. Let's face it, we live in a superficial world. Whether you're showing a client a new property or showing up to a first date, the car you drive will leave an impression. Whether it's positive or negative, that's up to you and of course the people that you are around. Now, I'm not saying show up to a first date in a Lamborghini or a Ferrari. In fact, that's a terrible idea if you value anything more than having a one-night stand. But there are some incredible deals out there today that provide sexy alternatives to buying a new Honda Civic. In fact, the average new car price in the United States is $36,000. 36 grand. That means people are spending more and more of their hard-earned money than ever before. So you might as well enjoy it, have a fun, good-looking ride, instead of feeling like, what the heck did I just buy? So without further ado, here are 10 cheap cars that'll make you look rich. First up, we have the 2006 and 2007 Aston Martin Vantage. What once cost $110,000 and was completely out of the realm of possibilities for anyone outside of the 1% is now decently affordable. I know what you're thinking, Aston Martin, I can't possibly afford an Aston Martin. Well, it turns out you might very well be able to. Aston Martin has been smashed over the head with a massive cinder block of depreciation, and the Vantage is now able to be purchased for $35,000. That's right, 35 grand for an Aston Martin Vantage. That's a steal. With stunning looks and an incredible sounding V8, the Aston Martin Vantage makes a strong case for itself at $35,000. And unlike a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, when you roll up in an Aston, you aren't classified as a douche. It's just a classy, stunning vehicle to look at. In fact, when I was test driving a new Aston Martin, I've never gotten more female attention from any car I have ever driven than when I was in an Aston Martin. Under the hood lies a 4.3-liter naturally aspirated V8 making 390 horsepower and 302 pound-feet of torque. That's good for 0 to 60 in 4.9 seconds. And the best part is you can get it in a manual. That's right, manual or automatic in an Aston Martin Vantage. Yes, it'll cost more to maintain than a brand new Toyota Avalon, but it's worth it. Okay, so maybe the Aston Martin is too flashy, it's too impractical because it only has 2 doors for you. Well, check out this next option, a 2008 Outie S8. what would have costed you a base price without any options of $92,500 back in 2008 can now be had for under $20,000, and in some cases as low as 12 grand. Now listen to some of the offerings the S8 has and tell me this isn't one of the coolest cars out there for $12,000. I mean, obviously very comfortable to drive, it's isolated from the road, it's relaxing, there's tons of space in the back, it's draped in luxury. But the true ultimate feature of the Outie S8 is its engine. That's right, it has a 5.2-liter V10. A V10 that was sourced from Lamborghini. Yes, it is a revamped version of the motor that's in the Lamborghini Gallardo. A 5.2-liter V10 in a sedan. Could you imagine what it would sound like if you straight piped it or put a nice exhaust on it? I almost want to buy one just thinking about it right now. The car produces 450 horsepower and 398 pound-feet of torque. Despite it weighing quite a bit, it's still able to sprint from 0 to 60 in 4.9 seconds. Okay, for some reason you don't like the two aforementioned cars, maybe they are too old for you, you want something a little newer with the latest technology. Well, how about a 2014 Mercedes S550? Now, back in 2014, which really wasn't that long ago, the base price was just a tad under 100 grand. Push options and you can go well into the 120s, 130s, 140s with an S-Class. Obviously, you've got all the latest technology, enough tech to impress even the most demanding passengers, dual 12.3-inch screens, massaging seats, incredible rear seat space, stunning looks. It's the new generation. How much will this cost you? I almost don't want to say because I've driven a 2016 S550 for the last year and a half. I got it new and it's the same body style as a 2014. And I paid a lot more than what they're worth now. That was a mistake. You can find 2014 S550s for $40,000. Now I know $40,000 isn't cheap by any means, but if you're thinking the average new car price is 36 grand and you're adding 4K on top of that to have a flippin' S-Class, it's probably worth it. All right, how about something a little cheaper and more rare? Ever heard of a Maserati Spider? Well, if not, let me give you some info on it. For one, you can buy a 2002 Maserati Spider for under $20,000. That's right. What's really cool, however, is that it has a Ferrari V8. Yes, that's right. It has a 4.2-liter naturally aspirated V8 that makes 390 horsepower, and it sounds absolutely magnificent. You can also get it in a manual if that suits you, or an F1 paddle shift gearbox. Probably go for the manual, it'll also be cheaper to maintain. Now, it isn't the best looking Maserati ever made, by no means, but it's under $20,000 and it has a Ferrari V8. Likely the most oddball car on this list is the 2012 Fisker Karma. Hear me out on this one. When the Fisker was released, honestly, I was rooting for it over Tesla. They finally proved that you don't have to have a hideous looking car in order for it to be environmentally friendly. I mean, why do you have to both save the world and drive a cheese wedge at the same time? Well, Fisker said, you don't need to do that. The car was designed by Heinrich Fisker. He was also responsible for the design of the BMW Z8, classically beautiful vehicle, as well as the Aston Martin Vantage and the DB9, so clearly he knows a thing or two about making good-looking vehicles. Now, it does have a gasoline engine. The gasoline motor simply powers the generator. Get this for statistics. The two AC motors produce 402 horsepower and 595 pound-feet of torque. Almost 1,000 pound-feet of torque. That's absolutely ridiculous. Now, downsides of the car. Well, because Fisker went out of business, you won't really have any place to service it. Well, but in case it does fail on you, it's a pretty damn cool paperweight. If you're into cars, chances are at one point in time you've wanted to own a Porsche. If you haven't, then reconsider, because definitely you want to own a Porsche. It's a pure, exhilarating, engaging driving experience and a fun vehicle to have for weekend cruises. When the Porsche Cayenne was released, it offered a less expensive, appealing alternative to the Porsche 911. It also had better weight distribution because it was mid-engined instead of rear-engine. For the Cayenne S, it had a 3.4-liter flat six that made 295 horsepower. Doesn't sound like a lot, but remember, Porsche is the master at maximizing horsepower and lowering weight. It's available in either a 6-speed manual or a 5-speed automatic transmission with paddle shifters. Still, go for the manual. How much will this cost you? Well, as little as $16,000. What new cars will cost you $16,000? A Toyota Yaris. Please don't get a Toyota Yaris over a Porsche Cayman. Next up is the gorgeous predecessor to the Mercedes S-Class Coupe, and that is the Mercedes CL550. You can pick up a CL550 for as little as $18,000. It's a stunning two-door. It is a 5.5-liter V8, making 382 horsepower, and it sounds fantastic. Of course, with all high-end Mercedes two-door coupes, as with all Mercedes two-door coupes, we've got tons of nice leather and wood everywhere. It's got an incredibly comfortable ride, and it's really fast. Remember, the CL Class used to be the top-of-the-line two-door luxurious Mercedes, and now you can get one for $18,000. Back when the CL65 was around, that would have set you back more than 220 grand. That's crazy to think about. Here's another oddball car for you, a 2007 Lotus Exige S. It's low slung, and honestly, it looks like a supercar. It's small, low to the ground, compact, it's got vents everywhere, and stands out against even some intense exotic cars. One of the greatest parts of the Exige S is its low curb weight. It only weighs 2,007 pounds. If you're looking for something that feels like a go-kart that's road legal, the Exige S will do the trick. Now, it only makes 220 horsepower and 265 pound-feet of torque, but because of its weight, it's able to sprint from 0 to 60 in 4 seconds flat. That's right, a 220 horsepower car that does 0 to 60 in 4 seconds flat. Now, this is by far the most expensive car on the list at $47,000 approximately for a used one. But it's also the most unique, is likely to stand out, and there is no way that somebody else in your town is gonna roll up next to you in an Exige S. If stylish, practical, and fast is your goal, look no further than the 2003 Porsche Cayenne Turbo. The Cayenne Turbo is a depreciation monster. Back in 2003, this would have cost you more than $90,000. Now in 2018, take a guess. 40, 30, 20, $13,000. In fact, I found a couple for $9,999. It was priced at 90 grand for a reason. It had a 4.5 liter twin turbocharged V8 that made 450 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque. It's all-wheel drive, so it's practical. You can drive it in inclement weather. It also has a towing capacity of 7,700 pounds. And because it's a Porsche, it has a very nice interior. It's spacious in the back, and, well, it's a Porsche, and it's a Porsche Turbo. Last on the list is a Bentley, but not the Bentley you are likely picturing. No, it's not a Continental GT. It is a 2001, ooh, there's a nice Acura NSX that just passed, a 2001 Bentley Arnage Red Label. The Arnage Red Label would have cost you more than $230,000 in 2001. Adjusted for inflation, that's approximately $317,000 in today's money. It even has a 6.7 liter Rolls-Royce V8 that makes 400 horsepower, and get this, 619 pound-feet of torque. $317,000 in today's money for a 2001. How much will it cost you now? 25 grand for a luxurious Bentley four-door with a Rolls-Royce motor. That's pretty awesome. Well, guys, there you have it, 10 cheap cars that'll make you look rich. If you enjoyed this video, leave a comment in the comment section below with some more awesome cars in the $40,000 and below price range that you think make you look rich without breaking the bank. If you truly love the video, hit that thumbs up button, smash that subscribe button. There are a ton of epic cars out there, and I might even do another version of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like always, please browse the channel and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you next video.